Comprehensive test match victory for India. Then in Mumbai at the Wankhede Stadium, they demolished New Zealand by 372 runs. Glorious day, glorious way to start the day and this new week, isn't it? On the 6th of December 2021, India have registered a massive 372 run victory over New Zealand in the second test match to seal the series. Good morning, you are live with me, Rajashri Gupta, on Sports Today. This was an emphatic victory, a much needed victory in the context of what Indian cricket has been through in the last couple of months. The disappointment of the T20 World Cup. Yes, they came back and blanked New Zealand 3-0 in the T20I series in India. But again, the first test match in Kanpur, no Virat Kohli, no Rohit Sharma, no Bumrah, no Pant, no Mohammad Shami. New Zealand offered a brilliant rear guard to escape with a draw in Kanpur. But in Mumbai, India was just too good. 325 in their first innings. New Zealand could only manage 62. They were blown away for 62. India, again, 276 for 7 declared in their second innings, setting New Zealand a target of 540. New Zealand could only manage 167, losing by 372 runs. India taking this two-match series 1-0. Of course, the player of the series, R. Ashwin, 14 wickets, important runs also at one juncture. And player of the match, there was no... I'm sure that wasn't a very difficult decision with Mayank Agarwal, scores of 150 and 62. This test match, this series, will be remembered for a lot of reasons, right? Good, fair rivalry between India and New Zealand. This has been a while coming, a test match win over New Zealand. You go back to the series there in New Zealand, India, and they won. The Black Caps won 2-0. They drew this match, and then this one in Mumbai, where of course Ajaz Patel dominated proceedings for New Zealand. All 10 wickets in the first innings, finishing with 14 wickets in the match, and he did join an elite list with Jim Laker and Anil Kumble. But you feel for Ajaz Patel, the only man to have lost a test match despite taking all 10 wickets in an innings. But what a phenomenal performance that was from Patel. Also in his city, Mumbai, that's where he was born before he moved to New Zealand as an 8-year-old with his parents. But the context of this test match, India 142 for 5, beg your pardon, New Zealand 142 for 5 overnight. And they didn't just last too long. In the morning, it just was India all over. R. Ashwin again finishing with 4 wickets in the second innings after his 4-wicket haul in the first. Jayant Yadav making a comeback into the test side after more than 4 years because of it. Jadeja was out injured of this test match. He made the most of this opportunity with 4 wickets this morning to completely skittle New Zealand away, getting bowled out for 167. A lot of things to take away from this series, from this match. First off, for New Zealand, of course, they missed Kane Williamson as captain, as a stellar batsman. Of course, his record as a test batsman in Asia hasn't been great, but they missed his leadership. They missed his tactical nuances. Tom Latham, of course, seemed bewildered at times against the onslaught of Mayank Agarwal and a few of the Indian batters. For India, Ajinkya Rahane's form continued to be a concern. Yes, he was stand-in captain in the first test match. Didn't get too many runs there, 435 thereabout. Speculation was right. Will he be dropped for the second match? Who will make way for Virat Kohli once he was fit, once he was ready to come back into the playing 11? And as it happened, Rahane was injured. Well, a lot of people asked questions. Was he really injured? Was it a cover to keep him away from the playing 11 because of his continued run of poor form? We'll never know. But yes, these are valid questions. Why not? Because no such questions on their injuries were raised the day before in the press conference when we got to know that Wriddhiman Saha was fit to take the field. But what about Rahane? What about Ishant? Ravindra Jadeja, yes. There weren't too many questions asked about him because he's such a crucial cog in the wheel for India across formats. His absence was a big hole to fill, but Jayant Yadav did well enough to take those 4 wickets. This is what Jadeja would have done as well, right? Pluck away at those wickets on the 4th morning and just completely hand India a massive, massive victory. 372 runs victory, then this very, very comprehensive. Rahane's form will continue to be a concern. How long will he stay away from the 11 now once he's assumed to be fit? India playing South Africa in a test series next, few days down the line this month. Therein lies the problem. Mayank Agarwal has made the most of his opportunity with a score of 150 and 62 in the second test match. Shreyas Iyer, sensational debut for him, 100 and a half century, the first ever India batsman to do that on test debut. Even in the in the first innings in Mumbai, he got out for 18, but in the second innings he had the team scores in mind. A couple of sixes, he had made his intentions pretty clear. He wanted to come in and get those quick runs. So there you have two batsmen who are so well shaped to take on their opportunities. And Mayank Agarwal, by the way, also played a middle order role in Australia. Didn't get one too many opportunities. Essentially an opener. He's done well in India. He's scored hundreds abound. But yes, questions will now be asked despite a victory. These are some important questions to ask because India have been very, very dominant in Test cricket. The World Test Championship, they lost the final, but I still maintain that in that first cycle of the World Test Championship, they were easily the best team. But you want to be more dominant than that. You want that middle order to be more solid. And Cheteshwar Pujara hasn't scored 100 in nearly 3 years. That last century was 193 against Australia in Sydney in the January of 2019. Almost 3 years since your number three has scored 100. He did get 47. He did get 47 um, in the second innings in Mumbai. But does that get him some brownie points from here on? That is a question we look to find answers for. But the fact is, for even for Pujara, if you look at some of the performances, once Rahul comes back, when Rohit Sharma comes back, how is that middle order going to look? Is there a replacement for Rahane now at number five with Shreyas Iyer showing early promise? Of course, these are still early days. It's just second Shreyas Iyer's second test match. Mayank Agarwal has only played a handful of test matches. Pujara 92 test matches, Rahane 79 test matches. There's a lot of experience there, but what happens when experienced batters are not fulfilling their expectations? Though therein comes fresh blood, and India have that in abundance now. A lot of these guys, remember, have trained under Rahul Dravid from the beginning of their careers. Rahul Dravid, before taking over as full-time coach of the Indian senior men's cricket team, was responsible for shaping all these cricketers right from the grassroots to the likes of Mayank Agarwal, Shubman Gill. They have all been privileged to train under Rahul Dravid at the start of the careers, and now they have him as head coach. So that's nice, a nice group of players settling in under what you'd call their guru. I'll take a quick couple of questions. It's been an emphatic victory for New Zealand. Before I get to the comments and questions, again, concerns, yes. World Test champions, they have been brilliant across ICC events. The final of the 2019 World Cup, they reached the final of the 2021 T20 World Cup. Also, the final of they've looked so very good. But they would have wanted to come and show that they are really world beaters. And if this is, they've continued to lose series after series in India. They did brilliantly to pull off that draw in Kanpur against almost a fully fledged Indian bowling lineup. They had their best three spinners in operation, desperately looking for wickets. But kudos to Ajaz Patel and Rachin Ravindra at the end for pulling off a draw. Coming to Mumbai, again, yes, they were unfortunate to miss out on Kane Williamson, who had to retreat in the shadow and not play this game with a long time injury. But they did not do themselves any favor. They had experience in Tom Nichols, Henry Nichols, beg your pardon, Tom Latham, Henry Nichols, Ross Taylor. Ross Taylor's performances again in Asia, over 100 Test matches, not all the too impressive. The Black Caps would have hoped for Ross Taylor to really put his hands up and deliver in this Test match, especially with Kane Williamson missing. Shouldn't he have taken the lead role? Again, some positives as well for them. Tom Latham and Will Young, their opening partnership in New Zealand, in Kanpur. The spinners, especially Ajaz Patel, Ajaz Patel has given such a good account of himself. He was absolutely sensational at the Wankhede, at the Green Park in Kanpur, on an unresponsive pitch. He was also very, very difficult to get away with. Rachin Ravindra, the debutant in Kanpur, batted very, very well in the closing moments of the first Test match. Did well with the ball in the second innings. Got his first three Test match wickets. So New Zealand have in their lineup now a number 6 or a number 7 who can bowl some quality overs of left arm spin. So they have been able to plug certain of their holes. Tim Southey and Kylie Jamieson, they were outstanding in Kanpur, just outstanding. They completely overshadowed the India paces. Coming to Mumbai, India's paces overshadowed the Kiwis. Mohammad Siraj especially just too good. But New Zealand also will take home a few positives from this series. What a fine team they are. What a fine side they are. But they would be disappointed with the way they crumbled in Mumbai. Absolutely demolished by 372 runs. Before I go to the comments, here's how the score stand: 325 India. Then in the first innings, New Zealand could only respond with 62. India's 276 for 7 declared in their second, and New Zealand all out for 167 in pursuit of 540, losing thereby by 372 runs. Hi, Bohecha. Thank you for joining us. Cricket Talk with PY. So, what do you think about Jen's performance and his chances in the squad for the next home series? Impressive performances. This is what you want. You want your spinners to come and quickly take those wickets and not really drag the game, because this was far out for New Zealand. Way too much, way too much to ask of the lower order to carry on and bat for 2 days on a pitch which was offering such spin and bounce. And that is what you would have expected your one of your lead spinners to come and do alongside R. Ashwin. He was taking a back full of wickets. Especially in the absence of Ravi Jadeja, Jayant Yadav stood up and showed that there is such talent and depth in India's spinning ranks. Remember Ajaz Patel, that is also how he made his mark. There was no Ravindra Jadeja in the series against England at home. Aksar was selected to play alongside Ashwin, and what a sensational start he got off to. So that is really heartwarming. And Jayant Yadav, we all know his capabilities. Obviously, in an era where you have R. Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja playing Test cricket, it's very, very difficult for any other spinner to get through, to slip through the cracks. But India have now in Akshar Patel an outstanding left-arm spinner, somebody who can bat really well, up the ante when needed, very good fielder. I don't see Giri. I mean, it's going to be difficult to fit in four spinners in a playing 11, and especially now with India relying on the pacers so much, the likes of Siraj, Shami, Bumrah, Umesh Yadav, they do incredibly well on these flat pitches when the ball gets old and they extract such reverse swing, especially Siraj. He just continues to impress me the more I watch him. He was brilliant in Australia. He was brilliant at home against England. He was outstanding in England. I was surprised to not see him in the lineup in Kanpur, wondering whether that injury in that T20I, in the first T20I against New Zealand, had a role to play with it. But or maybe India just wanted to go in with experience and give Ishant Sharma one more chance. Wicketless for a couple of test matches as Ishant, a workhorse for India. But Siraj, he just had to be there. He has to be across formats. He has to be playing across formats, and he looks fit, he looks fast, he looks agile, he looks hungry to run in and bowl and take wickets. And thereby, I don't think you'd see too many. You wouldn't see four spinners in that side, even if they're playing in India. Three spinners, two pacers would be probably the way to go forth from now on. And also, what that does is Jayant Yadav, again, no question about his batting skills, didn't get too many in this match, but he scored a test match 100. Akshar Patel is such a good batsman also. That adds to the depth alongside Ashwin and Jadeja, who have been champions with the bat for India, especially in Test cricket over the years across the world. So, therein, I hope you have your answer on Jayant Yadav. Now, that's all that I have. It's a very, very happy beginning to my Monday morning. I'm sure it is for you as well. Getting off to such a great start to the week, great start to the day, with India wrapping a victory by 372 runs at the Wankhede Stadium on the 6th of December 2021. What a day this has been. What a test match this has been. India bouncing back. You're always under pressure to win at home, by the way. It is not that easy because the expectations are there. You're up against very, very good teams. You're against quality players. New Zealand showed what they're capable of. They proved to be stiff competitors. They proved to be worthy opponents, the World Test champions. But India came back strongly. Virat Kohli coming back to take charge as captain, and he worked wonders again, didn't he? Charged up, and you could see a palpable change in body language. I'll go so far as to say that there was a definite surge in aggression and change in body language once Virat Kohli took over as captain in the second Test match. This is not to put Rahane now, who's also been outstanding in every opportunity he's got as to lead India in Test matches. But yes, there's something different about this man, Virat Kohli, when he comes in and takes over. But yes, Virat will also want to look to score runs now, because he looked, he was out for a duck in the first innings. To me, not look all too comfortable in the second either. It wasn't an easy pitch to bat on. Mayank Agarwal stayed on and made things look a little easier than you would have thought was possible. Shubman Gill batted brilliantly. For Shubman Gill to really assert his place in that 11, he needs to score the big runs more consistently. Maybe take a leaf out of Shreyas Iyer's book, Mayank Agarwal's book, and deliver those big scores far more consistently. 44 and 47 in Mumbai. He got a half century in Kanpur, but Shubman Gill really needs to make the most of these opportunities, because he should know once Rohit and KL Rahul are back, once Rishabh Pant is back, it's going to be very, very difficult to fit into that batting lineup, especially in the test format. So hopefully for Shubman and all of Shubman Gill's fans, hopefully for Indian cricket, he's such a fine batsman, isn't he? He makes the most of his chances the next time he gets to play test cricket. But that's all that we have. We'll of course come back with more analysis of this India-New Zealand series, as we also prepare and build up for India's tour of South Africa in just a few weeks from now. Thank you so much. Have a glorious day. Have a great week. I'll join you back very, very soon. And while you're at it, please do not forget to subscribe to Sports Today. Thank you.